are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, wherever you're watching this, welcome back to another Warriors gang reaction video, and this deals with the secret history of Studio 54's party supply gang, the Moonrunners. And I already like how this content creator, Real Reels, is tying in Studio 54 and the Moonrunners. And remember, after I get done with each gang, I will do a full movie reaction video with y'all. But let's get into the video.
They never ruled the streets with bats or face paint. They ruled the shadows, and the shadows ruled the night. Some say they fueled Studio 54's wildest parties. Others swear they vanished into the tunnels when the cops came knocking. This is the untold story of the Moonrunners, the warriors' silver ghosts under the crescent moon.
We've got the Saracens, sitting next to the Jones Street boy. We've got the Moonrunners. The Moonrunners.
They run at night, when the city sleeps and shadows grow long. Some say they're couriers, others whisper they're ghosts, smuggling poison through alleyways and disco lights. In the neon maze of New York's underworld, they were the whisper you heard behind Studio 54's velvet.
Which makes sense, because you see a moon, if I'm not mistaken, that was on their jackets, the Moonrunners, which I never picked up was a slang for doing drugs, or so-called being high. In other words, being on the moon. It makes sense.
Rope, and the danger waiting in the shadows beyond the last train home. Who were the Moonrunners? Let's find out. The name Moonrunners came first from moonshine. Back in 1975, a tight clique of young Puerto Rican and black hustlers worked the riverfronts on Manhattan's Lower West Side, smuggling cheap contraband booze upriver to Harlem after dark. One founder, Toro, started it as a family gig. But the night trade shifted fast. By '76, heroin shipments were slipping through the same back alleys, and the moon and spoon symbol became street code. Get high, drift off, never come back. They ran dope and money under the moon.
Yeah, that's what I thought. In other words, that's where the Moonrunners. In other words, being so high you're on the moon. And looking at their jacket, you do see the spoon with the moon. And I was looking at it and I was wondering, why were, when I was thinking the movie Moonrunners, I was like, why would a gang be called the Moonrunners? So they're dealing drugs. Gotcha. Heroin. Makes sense.
Moonlight, hence Moonrunners. Connection to Studio 54? Absolutely. By '77, rumors say the Moonrunners were one of the quiet pipelines that supplied designer drugs, pills, coke, and smack, that fueled the disco elite behind those mirrored doors. Some say the club's bouncers took bribes to let them pass unsearched.
Now, like I said, I do love how they tie in history, American pop culture with this, because Studio 54, we all heard the stories of all the celebrities, all the drugs and all the crazy stuff that went on in there. Now, if I could go back in that era and if I could get in Studio 54, I think I would want to do that now. I wouldn't be doing any drugs. I wouldn't be doing that, but just to be in that atmosphere, in that time frame, in the era, I think it would be dope. Maybe just for a day or two, not for a long time though.
Hidden among the flash and glitter. Their turf, crumbling dockyards near the West Side Highway, old warehouses by the piers, speakeasy basements now turned dope dens. Structure, small time at first, couriers and lookouts. By 1977, Toro's younger brother Gato formed the Night Pack, teenage runners on BMX bikes, slipping bags through the grid while the big gangs fought uptown. Operations and symbolism, the moon was their badge of secrecy. The spoon, a dark in-joke among the older heads. The moon lifts you up. The spoon drags you under. The Moonrunners set themselves apart with slick bomber jackets, metallic silver to catch streetlight and moonlight.
Even though I know what it means now, them jackets still hard though. Them jackets tough.
Like a big crescent patch on the back marked the real ones. Some wore silver chains with tiny spoons. rumored to be dipped in heroin as part of initiation rites. They never carried big weapons, just switchblades, butterfly knives, and brass knuckles. They moved quiet, fast, and left no trace. They ran mostly after midnight, invisible on city streets but well known at the docks and in disco backrooms. Cops knew them, but could rarely pin them down. Stories say they'd vanish into subway tunnels, skate across rooftops, or slip through sewer grates if cornered. Rifts tolerated them. Someone had to keep the supply lines moving, but if they brought heat, they'd be cut off quick.
But if you think about it, since their whole thing is being low-key, it's hard to be low-key with them bright jackets.
By late '79, the Moonrunners' name was half respect, half scorn. Some called them reliable mules, discreet, loyal, essential. Others said they skimmed product, double-crossed suppliers, and snitched when cornered. Urban legends say Toro shot his own cousin when he found out he was flipping for a Midtown syndicate. Nobody could prove it, but the Night Pack started wearing black armbands that winter. The Rifts turned a blind eye so long as shipments flowed and trouble stayed buried in the docks. But after Cyrus called the big conclave, whispers rose. If the Moonrunners got too big, someone would clip their wings for good. Old heads say some Moonrunners still ghost the piers. Older now, guarding secrets nobody wants to dig up. The Night Pack. Rumors say they evolved into new courier rings, the fast kids weaving through the city to this day. Same moon, same spoon, same cold promise, under streetlight shadows, run quiet, run fast, never get caught. Run under the moon. That was their code. Stay quiet, stay fast, stay gone. But in the city that never sleeps, rumors never die. Are the Moonrunners just old ghosts on the piers? Or does that crescent still shine over hidden tunnels and whispered deals? Drop your theories below. Did they supply the club scene? Were they loyal couriers
Well, Stallone.
or double-crossing rats? Smash that like button
Oh, look
if
at
you
Mike.
wear that silver jacket.
And of course, Steven
And
Tyler.
hit subscribe to keep riding with us as we hunt the truth behind every gang from the Warriors. Until next time, run quiet, run fast. Can you dig it?
And once again, y'all, another dope video by Real Reels. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description. Now, a shorter video than the others, but it makes sense of them being a supply gang with drugs, and all the other drugs. I mean, all the other gangs really dealt with muscle. They didn't really have muscle. They were just worried about making a profit by selling drugs. So it makes sense. And then the name Moonrunners is tied in perfectly. But y'all, I wanted to say I appreciate all the support. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you want morning motivation, early mornings and late nights with Channel Adrian TV, sports reviews, music reviews, sneaker reviews, Sunday service to get you through the week. Anything you could think of, subscribe to Channel Adrian TV.